The rain fell hard that night, drumming against the windshield of Officer Daniel Hayes's patrol car as if the heavens were trying to warn him. The city was half asleep, its lights flickering through the mist. He was nearing the end of his shift, the kind of quiet night that made him think about his late wife and the daughter he hadn't seen in months. Then, through the static of the police radio, a faint call came through, something about noises near the old industrial lot by the river. Most officers ignored calls like that. The place had been abandoned for years. But Daniel had a habit of checking things others didn't. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was instinct. Either way, that decision would change his life forever. When he pulled into the lot, the headlights cut through the darkness, revealing a crumbling warehouse surrounded by weeds. The rain had slowed, leaving the air heavy and cold. He stepped out, flashlight in hand, scanning the shadows. That's when he heard it, a sound so faint he almost missed it. A whimper. Like a small animal. But no, it was softer, trembling, human. He followed the sound, his boots crunching over broken glass and debris, until he reached the back corner of the building. There, under a torn piece of tarp and an old cardboard box, was a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 7. Her clothes were tattered, soaked through, her hair matted with dirt. She looked up when his light touched her face, huge brown eyes filled with fear, hunger, and something else, something Daniel hadn't seen in years. Hopelessness. He knelt slowly, lowering his voice. "Hey, it's okay. I'm a police officer. I'm here to help you." But she didn't answer. She just clutched a small, filthy stuffed rabbit to her chest and shook her head. He called for backup and an ambulance, but something in him refused to leave her side. When he tried to offer her his jacket, she flinched. That broke him more than he expected. A child shouldn't look at anyone, especially not someone trying to help, with that much fear. It was as if the world had already taught her that no one could be trusted. "You're safe now," he whispered. "I promise." At the hospital, doctors said she was malnourished, dehydrated, and had likely been on her own for weeks. She hadn't spoken a word since they brought her in. Daniel stayed late into the night, sitting in the hallway outside her room, watching the rain slide down the windows. The image of her tiny, trembling hands wouldn't leave his mind. Something about her stirred memories he'd buried deep, the accident that took his wife, the custody battle that cost him his daughter, Lily. She'd be about this girl's age now. That thought hit him like a punch to the gut. Days passed, and the girl, whom the nurses called Hope because she refused to say her name, remained silent. No family had come forward. No missing child report matched her. Daniel found himself visiting her every day, bringing her small things, a coloring book, a juice box, even a new stuffed rabbit. At first, she ignored him. But one day, when he walked in, she was drawing. When she saw him, she hid the paper behind her back. "Can I see?" he asked gently. She hesitated, then slowly handed it over. It was a drawing of 2 stick figures, a tall man and a small girl, standing under a blue sky. The man was holding the girl's hand. Daniel swallowed hard. "Is that me?" She didn't answer, but the faintest nod escaped her. And then, for the first time, she whispered something so soft he almost didn't hear it. "Thank you." Those 2 words broke through every wall Daniel had built around his heart. From that day forward, he wasn't just the officer who found her. He became the man who refused to let her slip through the cracks again. He started looking into her past, calling every department, reviewing missing person reports, knocking on doors that led nowhere. But the more he searched, the more he realized someone didn't want her found. Weeks later, while reviewing old case files, Daniel noticed something strange. A report from 2 months prior mentioned a fire in a trailer park on the edge of the city. The victims were presumed dead, a mother and child. But only one body had been found. He drove there that same night, heart pounding. The ashes were long cold, but neighbors remembered something. There was a man, one woman told him. Always shouting. Mean drunk. After the fire, he disappeared. The pieces clicked. Hope hadn't just been abandoned, she had escaped. And whoever she ran from wasn't done looking for her. That night, as Daniel tucked her into bed at the foster home, headlights flashed outside. His gut tightened. He stepped out, hand instinctively resting on his holster. A man stood across the street, face hidden beneath a hood. When Daniel called out, the man vanished into the dark. Fear rippled through him, but not for himself. For her. He doubled security, moved her to a safer location, and swore to protect her no matter what. It wasn't just duty anymore. It was something deeper, something he hadn't felt since losing his family, a purpose. A week later, everything came to a breaking point. The man from the reports was found hiding in an abandoned motel. When confronted, he confessed through slurred words that he'd set the fire after his wife tried to leave with their daughter. He thought both had died until he saw a news report showing the little girl alive in the hospital. That was when Daniel finally knew. Hope wasn't just her name, it was her second chance. Months later, a judge granted Daniel custody. It wasn't easy, the process was long and filled with questions, but the day she ran into his arms outside the courthouse, all the pain, the loss, the loneliness, it all melted away. "You're my dad now, right?" she asked. Daniel smiled, tears glistening. Yeah, sweetheart. I am. Years passed, and the little girl who once trembled in the dark became a bright, fearless young woman. On the anniversary of that stormy night, they visited the same abandoned lot, now rebuilt into a children's shelter. Hope helped cut the ribbon, her voice steady as she said, I was found here, but I wasn't saved by luck. I was saved because someone didn't give up on me. In the crowd, Daniel stood quietly, hands in his pockets, watching her with pride that words couldn't hold. He thought of how one decision, one act of compassion, had not only changed her life but healed his own. Sometimes, he realized, you don't find the ones you're meant to save. They find you, and that night, under the same rain that once carried despair, it no longer felt cold. It felt like grace.